Well, good afternoon, Amber. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing, my dear?
Doing great. Thanks so much for joining me today, and
Yes.
got lots of fun stuff to talk about. And I'll go ahead and dive right in. I wanted to kind of talk about some of the things we're seeing, particularly when it comes to a lot of the headlines. I feel like the closer we get to the election, the more people are trying to just really get your attention with some kind of interesting headlines that aren't necessarily true. So really be really mindful, even in some of the publications and areas where you're used to always trusting them. I feel like some of the things that we're seeing is really turning into a challenge. So I had this quote, or I read this quote, and I thought it was really great. I hope I'm going to destroy his last name, but Logan Mohtashami with HousingWire, he said, stay positive, stay healthy, stay safe, and try not to create problems for yourselves by buying into boy band folklore and fairy tales. And I really think that that's a great way to just go in as you're looking at what's going on in the economy, in real estate, in everything, because, quite frankly, we know this housing continues to outperform all other economic sectors. It's bolstering our entire economy, and it's keeping a lot of people employed. And so that's really exciting for us to be part of the solution, because 10 years ago we weren't. So there's a lot of good things, but there's a lot of outside pressures really putting on and kind of coming down on real estate. And even though we continue to really amaze economists by what's happening and where we're going, it's just we got to stay mindful of what's happening, because there is so much outside pressure looking in on us and saying, well, real estate is this or this or this, but it's like, no, we got to stay the course. But there are some red flags, things that we need to be aware of. Now, as we keep talking about what's going on in real estate, I'm going to share some slides, but throughout the whole pandemic, a lot of the experts and economists have been projecting a lot of things and trying to just gather their info on how does this make sense, right? So here's one that I've kind of like this screenshot a lot, because this really talks about year over year changes and what we're looking at and why real estate has been as strong as it is. Okay, so showings are up year over year, purchase applications are up year over year, pending transactions are up, existing home sales are up, new home sales are up. We've got all these things. Existing home inventory down, new home inventory down. So when you look at this, we're really looking at the supply and demand. All these things in green show increased and elevated demand. All this is a low supply. So we've talked about this. It's super basic supply and demand. We know that what this is, and this is why it's pushing prices up. This is very basic Econ 101. And a lot of people are wondering what's going on with this and why are we continuing down this path? That slide is why. I mean, we have so much more demand than we have available inventory. It's why these prices are continuing to go up and up and up. One of the things I want to share as well is when people are looking at comparing, okay, what does that mean? Like, look where we were 10 years ago, look where we are today. This is another slide I'm going to go ahead and share. And what this one talks about is, again, we're looking at the months of inventory. So seller's market, even still considered 6 months of a market or less, is still a seller's market, even though we know with our if we had a 6-month inventory, we would not know what to do with ourselves with that much houses. We were hanging out at 1.4, months of inventory. But you look at some of these months, we were creeping up. We had almost 13 months of inventory in 2010. Here's where we are today. We are so low that this is going to continue pushing us in the direction that we've been going. This is why we're seeing the prices and, everything we were just talking about, supply and demand. Everything is about that's what's pushing up the prices. There's not false demand. This is all real demand, but there's been some new warnings that some people are talking about, particularly, so Ivy Zellman with Zellman and Associates, Matthew Gardner, who was chief economist with Windermere. There's a lot of people talking about, okay, but here's the challenge that we're looking at later. So we know interest rates are super crazy low, and that is really trumping the recession. I mean, it's trumping COVID. People are like, hey, I can go save a boatload of money on my monthly payment. So they're going out in the refinancing. Amber, I know you've been like crazy busy on the refinance as well as the purchase side. And so when you talk about, we've got these really low inventory levels, we've got really low interest rates. So a lot of people are going out and they're getting phenomenal rates. Now, here's the thing. We know interest rates aren't going to stay this low forever. Ivy Zelman is forecasting maybe sometime in 2022 as the economy gets healthier, interest rates will go up. And she kind of gave this whole big how you kind of look at housing, you know, how like housing formation and the 10-year bond rates and all this stuff, and like kind of comparing, and she has these amazing formulas anyhow. But she's kind of talking about when you're looking at prices going up, and even though they've gone up so significantly, they're still outpacing the increase of income, as well as in Amber, one of the numbers, and tell me if I'm wrong, one of the numbers that she used was, so for every quarter percentage rate, every quarter percent up the interest rate goes, payments go up about 3%. Monthly payments go up about 3%. That's what she was saying. Is that kind of rule of thumb pretty healthy? Okay. So when you're looking at this, she's like, it's going to create an immobile market. And the mobile market is mostly going to be in the kind of move up group where you've got a lot of people, they tend to hunker down and stay. But when you start looking at prices have gone up, prices are expected to continuously go up. We talked about it with that supply and demand. Our supply is so low, so prices are just going to keep going. And then at some point when our interest rates aren't going to be as low, it's going to make housing affordability that much tighter. So right now, when you want to have a conversation where people are sitting there thinking about, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? We have crazy low inventory. So sellers are able to, you know, get what they're asking. And right now, buyers have a lot of ability with these low rates to get into these properties. So now we're saying if it goes up, say 15 months or so, you know, out, it's going to likely, and this is what Ivy Zelman believes, is if it likely will freeze our market so people aren't going to move. It's just going to hurt their affordability. They won't have anywhere to go. So these are conversations to be having as people are saying, hey, I'm going to sit and wait. You want to sit and wait. Prices have gone up 17% so far this year. You want to sit and wait and pay another 17%, you know, in a year, plus who knows where we go interest rates, say a year and a half out. So a lot of kind of bottom line is really you want to have that conversation. I know Amber has been saying this over and over again, and I'm jumping on your bandwagon there, Amber. When you're like, if you're not in your dream house, if you're not in the place that you want to be, this is a great time to go, because there's really no reason to wait. And even Ivy Zelman said, she was like, don't wait. Whatever it is that you're waiting for, don't do it. It will only cost a consumer more. Now is the time to take advantage of this once in a lifetime opportunity with interest rates as low as they are. And so it's really, we're just seeing the potential of prices going up, of everything going up. And yeah, it's great for sellers, but then when do they want to buy? Where are they going to go? Again, leaving to that immobile kind of marketplace. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, but we've got all this, you know, what's coming down that pipeline in that forbearance arena, everything. Now, the number of loans in forbearance continues to drop. We're down to like 3.2 million roughly are in forbearance. Now, there's other things happening behind it, but the last slide that I want to show talks about, well, okay, we know a lot of people, they could be in, you know, some sticky situation, but look at this. Don't forget about the sheer quantity of equity that most American homeowners have. 42% of homes are owned free and clear. So even if people are going to be running into maybe have some tighter situations, the likelihood that they have equity is so significant. Plus, if we're looking, you know, we're talking about 17% appreciation so far this year. We know that there's equity here. So people, we're really not going to have some of those big giant challenges that people are saying, oh, we're going to have a flood of this or a flood of that. It's super unlikely, even with the things that are going on, the high unemployment rates, everything. So it's just, now is the time to have these conversations with your buyers and your sellers. If they're not, Amber, I'm stealing your saying, if they're not in the house that they want to be in, if they're not in their dream home, now is the time to get them moved in there. So with that, and I know Amber, you've got some really awesome stuff and some big key kind of takeaways on what's going on, particularly within the arena on pricing and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's competitive out there, right? Our buyers are struggling to get offers accepted, and our agents are looking for whatever they can do to get a leg up on the competition. And in a lot of cases right now, it's just, the highest price is winning. And if you have clients that only have, X amount of dollars to put towards the closing cost and down payment, and they are like, this is where I'm capped at, this is as high as I can go, there may be some other solutions for them. We're helping clients that either are offering over what they anticipate the appraised value to be on purpose because they know with our strategy that they could offer 15,000 over appraised value, and it's only going to cost them about $2,000 to do that, and they've got that money available. And so, or we have clients that are coming in with a low appraisal. The sellers don't want to reduce because they're just like, I'll have a backup, or I'll put it back on the market or whatever. We're again helping them to make up that difference between the contracted sales price and the appraised value for much less than they were expecting. And everyone's scenario is going to be a little bit different on exactly how that looks. But if you have someone who's frustrated on losing out, they want to start offering a higher price, but they don't want to have to come in with that much money, please have them talk to us to get a second opinion. We are helping our agents to win offers using this strategy, and we're also helping to keep deals together when these low appraisals are coming in. So think of us if you want us to chat with your clients some more about this strategy, or if you have specific questions on how it works, feel free to call me. I'd be happy to walk you through it. I want to see you keep as many of these deals together or win as many as possible. But I keep telling our clients, like, there is not, in my opinion, a better time to be buying your forever home. Like, if you've had any ambitions of buying a different home, now's the time. Don't wait a couple years. In a couple years, prices are probably going to be higher and interest rates are going to be higher, and it's going to be even harder to get into your home. The power of what you can do right now is incredible. Our clients don't know it. The best way to educate them on this, in my opinion, is to set up like a little Zoom database party where you talk about the opportunity, or do a video
Great idea.
with you and a lender partner where you're talking about the opportunity of selling, extracting the equity, putting it down on your forever home, what that payment would look like in comparison, so people can really visualize it and own it and get excited about it. Because once it feels more real or attainable to them, then they're all over it. And so, incredible opportunity right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And Amber, if anybody does put together those Zoom calls, would you be willing to talk to them about it and join it?
Of course, yes.
I thought so.
I love doing presentations to clients. I love educating people, and I'm so passionate about people being able to take advantage of this opportunity. And if we aren't the ones out there spreading the word and talking to them about it, this opportunity will pass them by. So it's really your responsibility as their real estate, advisor, to make sure if this is right for them, that they're able to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Completely agree. And right now, there's just, going back to the headlines, there's so much misinformation. So please remember, share the information that's to be accurate. There's so much that's just at our fingertips that people just truly don't understand. So sharing this is so important.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Amber, thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.